Happy Self-Love Sunday. I am Mo Sass, the host of Self-Love Sundays with Sass. I am a certified life coach who loves to consider herself an aide in the village that helps walk alongside people throughout their journeys to discovering their life's purpose and also creating a vision for their life. And why I say an aide in the village is because I am very old school and I believe that it takes a village to heal, love, raise, and transform a child. And we are all children of God in this universe. So, oh my God, it's almost the end of January. And last week we started talking about my journey from welfare to winning. And I said I may do a part two in it. And I decided, let me expand on it a little bit more. Because again, condensing my life down is really hard to do, but I'm going to try to give you some even more nuggets today. Okay. So here's the thing. Last week we talked about, and if you didn't get a chance to check it out, you can check it out on my YouTube channel, Mo Sass. It's in the link in my bio if you're following me on Instagram. And also I posted on Instagram and Facebook. So this is last Sunday. So anyway, what I talked about was, I didn't allow my story to define me. I also talked about, what books open my mind and because mindset is everything, right? When we talk about what takes a person to the next level of their life, it's always mindset as well as environment, right? So this is kind of what I want to expand on a little bit more today, which is environment. Some people are in, if you're a child, right? When you're a child, you don't have any control over the environment that you're in. And that's why I love books, because you can build your mindset until you can move yourself from the environment. So the next thing in my life that helped catapult my mindset and change things was me changing my environment, which I moved my family from the state that I was living from New Jersey to Pennsylvania. And people would think like, okay, well, that's not a big deal, but it really was, because moving to a different environment around different cultures of people and also not knowing anyone here, it really helped push me out of my comfort zone. So when you talk about going to the next level of your life, you can't do it in your comfort zone. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And there's nothing more uncomfortable than moving to a new state and not knowing a soul there, okay? And then I moved with my children who were very young at the time. So I had no other choice but to learn how to form better relationships with people because I was gonna need help. You cannot do this journey alone. Yes, when I first moved here, I was married, but you need more than just your inside home. You need a community of people. So what am I saying here? I didn't allow my story to define myself, to define me. I didn't allow it to trap me. I also used books to help open my mind, but also changing my environment. And I became comfortable with being uncomfortable, understanding that you will need a community of people to help you along your journey. So a lot of what I talked about in Welfare to Winning last week was all about, the business aspect of things, right? So it was growing my finances and, how to think outside the box and what it took for me to do that. Like the people who I was around and how I was watching them and seeing the things that they were doing, which is very important. But here's the biggest thing: change of attitude. What the way I was in New Jersey, right? When I came to Pennsylvania, some of that stuff had to change. My attitude had to change. I couldn't be on guard all the time. Again, that's surviving, always on guard. And it's not to say that, you're not aware or should be aware of your surroundings. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this on guard. Everybody's out to hurt me. What are you going to do to me? That attitude, it wasn't going to cut it in the new environments that I was in. The new environments as far as my jobs was concerned, the new environments as far as my home was concerned, where we lived. I had to change my attitude. This coming from the inner city, sometimes you look over your shoulder all the time. You worry about who's going to do what. Are they going to try to take something from you? So that is a part of the makeup of who you are, and it helps you survive in that environment. But as you come out of that environment, that has to change. Okay? So when I think about what helped me change in terms of my attitude, in terms of like, all right, getting out of that mindset of, someone's always out to do something to me, which is a very negative mindset. And then I was wondering why I was breeding some of the negativity around me. It was my mindset. So people don't like to believe this, but it's very true. What you put out in this universe, you do get back. So if you're putting out negativity, if you're putting out gossip, if you're putting out harm, if all you're watching is harmful things, gossip shows or whatever, that tends to be what you surround yourself with. So that requires a different level of change. That means, going to a more positive thought patterns and habits, because these are all habits. So I'm going to share with you, as I shared with you last week, one of the books that helped change my mind in terms of my success with my career. But when you start talking about personal success in my life, the next one was The Power of Positive Thinking. And I'm holding this book up for those of you who can see the video, by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. This book was a game changer and teaching me how to also create my own happiness. And listen, I don't ever come to these videos fronting, okay? These processes and things that I'm talking about, these are things that have to be worked on daily, okay? I'm gonna tell you how I feel about the healing journey. The healing journey is done when you're dead. I said it. The healing journey is done when you die. Why? Because there's always going to be something to unpack. There's always going to be a different layer to yourself that you're going to have to walk through. And that's why we have to give ourselves grace throughout that period. But I want to read something to you that really helped me in terms of happiness. And there was a part in the book where they were talking about a guy who was like always kind of cheerful and happy. And he said, I make it a habit to be happy. He said, this statement is really very profound, for our happiness or unhappiness depends to an important degree upon the habit of the mind we cultivate. The collections of wise sayings, the book of Proverbs tells us that he that is of a merry heart hath a continual feast. And that's Proverbs 15:15. In other words, cultivate the merry heart that is, develop the happiness habit, and life will become a continual feast, which is to say you can enjoy life every day. Out of the happiness habit comes a happy life. And because we can cultivate a habit, we therefore have the power to create our own happiness. So what that really is saying is that everything is a habit. So let's talk about what I mean by everything is a habit. So my morning routine is a habit. Me getting up every single morning between sometimes 4:15 in the morning to wake up, to pray and to meditate and to work out before I begin my day. And also now I've incorporated an accountability call. That is a habit. Those small habits that I do every day cultivate the wisdom, the knowledge, the power of the person that you see sitting before you. What am I saying? It's the small things that you do every day. It's never the big thing. How we get to the big thing is the small things that we do every single day. What are your habits? What are your habits? Okay. And I know in this book, he talks about Proverbs, and it's from the Bible. And I'm going to say this, and I will say it every video. I am not religious. I am spiritual. What that means is I have a personal relationship with my God, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It does not have to be yours. Okay. I always say that a part of my job is I'm the healer's healer. That means that my job is just to call people home to their God. Understand that you cannot do this alone. Again, a part of the community is having a personal relationship with a source higher than yourself. Whoever you choose to call it, Buddha, Allah, a tree, I don't care. It's all on you. But it's about understanding that making that as a part of your daily habit is going to breed a different type of success in your life. Okay? So reading books like that helped me with my personal development and not being tied to my story, not being tied to my past. These are some of the things that help catapult me into understand that you want to keep this all the way real today. I had to understand where I was a part of some of the breakdowns in my life. Okay? So, what I mean by the breakdowns, listen, when you grow up having to fight for love, you think that you then have to manipulate. You manipulate the situations. That means if you need to cry on cue, you cry on cue. That means if you have to tell a little lie here or there to get the love you want or to make it fit your situation, you do. That's all survival. And that's all this. I don't really love myself. I don't think that I'm good enough. So I need to cultivate these things. I need to manipulate. I need to move these pieces. I need to be a control freak. I need to control all the pieces on the chessboard. All of that is survival techniques. And when you have to manipulate, fight, and do all these things for love, and I don't care if it's about love, a personal partnership, spouse, your children, or whatever, there's always going to be some doom and gloom to that. It's gonna be some doom and gloom to that, because that means that you have to manipulate to get people to love you. Therefore, you don't love yourself. When you learn to love you, learn to understand that you're good enough as you are, not trying to be in this form of perfectionism, then you learn you don't have to manipulate. You learn you can put the sword down. I remember somebody asked me, when are you going to put the sword down? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you're still fighting. You're still fighting. And that wasn't that long ago. That's what I mean. That's the other thing too. I'm not afraid to show that I'm still growing. I'm not afraid to say I'm still learning. I'm not afraid to say I still get it wrong. I'm not afraid to say I still fail. I'm not afraid to say it. I don't live in that perfection. Even when I was reading that, I stumbled over the words a little bit as I was reading. I don't care. Because here's the thing. I tried to be this perfect person before, and then I realized that was me trying to play God and be God, and that you are not that, honey. Okay? You're human. That means you're gonna mess up. That means you're gonna fail. That means you're gonna fall down. That means you're gonna make mistakes. That means you're gonna hurt people as you've been hurt. If we're keeping it real today, so many people would like, listen, I've been a victim, I've also victimized. I'm just real with you. I had to come to understand it, face the dark sides of myself, because that's a part of the growth. I want y'all to hear me, follow me on this journey from welfare to winning. Means I had to face the things that I had done as well. I had to understand that this growth is going to be continual. I'm not going to always get it right. But this is the thing though. When I know better, I strove to do better. And therefore, I've become better. You see that? You see that? That's the thing. So, and I'm not living in denial. So many people want to live in denial. Let me tell you, you want to know if you're living in denial? I'm gonna help you today. If you're still blaming everybody else and you're not taking any personal accountability, you're living in denial, boo. I'll just keep that funky with you right there. You're in denial, okay? And I had to realize that about myself. I was in denial about a lot of things. But so what helped me come out of that, right, was me reading, opening my mind, working on my attitude, working on those things, that understanding where I was still surviving, where I was still in surviving, let me help you, is operating out of fear. That's all that is. So I had to face my fears. Okay, so reading the books helped me with that. I showed you the book, How Successful People Think by John C. Maxwell. Please go back and check out the video if you didn't check it out. And then today, The Power of Positive Thinking. But I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper with my ladies today. I'm gonna tell you a book that honestly really helped me dive truly deep in the things that I had to work on. Right, that I was blessed to work on. I always say that, when we start saying, we have to, almost bring your shoulders down, like I have to. Or you can say, I get to. I can choose to be a better. Or I'm blessed. I'm blessed that I have another day to work on this thing. I'm blessed that I have another day to get this right. And when I say get this right, I really try to stay away from right or wrong. But what I mean by get it right is get it right within myself, to understand that I can have grace throughout this growth thing, right? So this book, I'm going to tell you, game changer. Something More, Excavating Your Authentic Self by Sarah Ban Breithnart. I'm going to mess it up. But anyway, this is the book, okay? I'm going to tell you this book was a game changer in knowing that there was something more. And again, I'm going to do a quick excerpt out of this book. And it says, the search for something more is a sacred adventure, one that will provide you with all the amusing anecdotes, profound turning points, and provocative choices you'll ever need to be able to live this life without regrets, because regrets is a killer, y'all. True adventure starts with desire and inclination to enter the unknown. The travel writer Kate Wheeler tells us, in hope of finding what? More of yourself or more of the world? Yes. Are you with me? If you are, you've got to make a conscious choice every day to shed the old, whatever the old means to you. Old issues, old guilt, old patterns, old responses, old resentments, old rivalries. We no longer have the luxury of wallowing in what's held us back. This is the emotional baggage we're supposed to be getting rid of this time around. This is the choice standing between your dream of living authentically and it's coming true. This is the choice that is not optional if you want to discover your something more. Both authenticity and adventure require a point of departure. The willingness to shed what's safe and predictable in order to embrace the new people, places, predicaments, pleasures, and passion, your new authentic life. This book, when I tell you was a game changer, let me tell you something. I took time and I dove in each chapter. But when it came to my perfectionism, y'all, because I was living in that, you can't see me break down. Oh no, I'm not gonna let them see that I had yet another failed relationship. I'm not gonna let them see that, I was experiencing issues in my home. I'm not gonna let them see that I was going through a divorce. I'm not gonna let them see that I was in a relationship that had verbal and physical abuse that I played a part in. I'm not gonna let them see all that. What? Not me. And let me tell you the thing that changed my life. This book is a section called Little Miss Perfect. It says perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor, the enemy of the people. It will keep you insane your whole life. Child, let me tell y'all something right here, right now. You can get off this video right here. It was insanity trying to live up to being perfect all the time. It was insane trying to put on. And then I had to think, who was I putting on for? Because the truth of the matter is, everybody has problems. I don't care who you look at on social media. I don't care who YouTube channel you looking at. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care what their house look like. I don't care who their friends are. They got issues. Bottom line, they got issues. And I do too. Okay? And the thing is, I'm not afraid to say it. And because I'm not afraid to say it, that meant I wasn't afraid to face it. And because I wasn't afraid to face it, it forced me to open up my mindset to read more books. Because it forced me to open my mind to read more books, it helped me go out and get help in terms of a therapist. The therapist helped me understand that there was some more group spiritual, so I got a spiritual coach. I also realized that, okay, maybe I need a life coach as well. What is that? That's a system. I built a system around me. A system of people who are going to call me on the carpet on my stuff. Because I'm going to keep this real. There's times even when I think I got it right, people call me on the carpet. I'll be like, what? That's not me. I'm not like that. Oh, yes. And then I had to realize, oh, yes, you are. There's still some things you have to work on. There's still some things that you need some growth in. So, because to me, I'm going to tell you, I'll keep this real. Because I feel like I don't do the lying and manipulating anymore, right? I felt like I got it together. Like I worked on that. I love me. And then I realized there was more layers. Because there were other fears that were still playing a part. Fears that from my past that was coming forward. And I'm going to tell you guys something. When you lead with fear, there is healthy fear. I will say that. There is healthy fear because I don't want to mix things up. Let me just say there's healthy fear. In other words, if you find yourself walking down a dark alley, your hair the hairs on the back of your neck start standing up because there's something that could be there, I want you to run, okay? There's healthy fear. I'm not saying that we don't have fears, okay? There are healthy fears. But I'm talking about are unhealthy fears. The unhealthy fears of projecting things onto people that you don't even know. You're projecting something that happened in your past. You're carrying the baggage of your past and you're projecting it onto other people. So you're messing up your friendships. You're messing up your relationships. Those are the kind of fears I'm talking about. The fears that hold you back. The fears. So let me give you a quick fear that I had. I always had fear of doing these videos. It was like I thought I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't good enough. I didn't look good enough. All of those fears, right, that were playing a part in my life. And I was, it was holding me back. It was holding me back from my purpose. God said, get on the video and teach the people. And I was like, I'm not, look, Lord, the way this thought pattern is set up, I can't get on here and do that. And then I had to understand, like, he made me in his image and his likeness. I'm beautiful. My heart is beautiful. I have wisdom. The things that I've went through is going to help save somebody else. It's going to help bring somebody else out of the shadows. It's going to help somebody understand that they don't have to lie, manipulate for love. They're good as they are. It's going to help somebody understand that they can go from welfare to winning. You feel me? So it was like, I had to face those fears head on. And then I had to face the other fear, right? The fear of rejection, the fear of what people were going to think. Oh, and then it's like, well, how many views is it going to get? A lot of people are not reading, listening. And you know what God told me? The right ones will. Come on, y'all. The right ones will. So if you have a purpose, and you have a calling, and he's calling you to it, understand that the right people going to find you. Like I could cry right now. When I first started this, I used to be like, I'm so scared, God. I'm scared what they going to say. I'm scared what they going to think. I'm scared of how I'm going to feel because I didn't want to go back to feeling the old way I used to. I fought so hard to get where I am, God. I was worried. And then I was just like, man, to see here's 2022. I ain't nowhere near them fears. The right people have found me. The right people continue to keep finding me. You understand what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, if I can do this, me, the girl who didn't think she was good enough for so many things, the girl didn't think she was pretty enough, the girl who put on that outer hard shell, like, was so afraid to show her heart because it kept getting stomped on by people, not understanding that she was playing a part in it because she didn't love herself. That's why her heart was being stomped on. You understand me? Like, that girl who I will never forget, when she was young, thought she was ugly. I will never forget it. I was like, I wanted to display my talent, and I went to this talent show. I was in middle school, and I dressed up in church clothes. I ain't know any better, y'all. Dressed up in church clothes, and I went and I was lip singing Lisa in the Cult Jam, right? And I remember everybody looking at me like, she don't have no talent. What's she doing here? What does she have on? She's bummy, right? I remember that feeling. Do you know that was middle school? And that's the moment I became the cheerleader for everybody else because I never thought I was good enough, so I'm going to cheer everybody else on. Before I started to do these videos, that's the feeling that came back. Y'all, this stuff is deep. That's the feeling that came back. But I was like, I had to fight through that. And here I am. Here I am, y'all. Here I am. Here I stand in all my ugliness, all my mess, all those lessons that turned into beautiful blessings. Open, wide open, not afraid to put it out there, not caring what anybody's going to say or think, because it's saving somebody today. Somebody is going to know that despite where they came from, despite the harm that they may have caused, if they reconcile it. And when I talk about reconciling, listen, y'all, I had to go back and say I was sorry. Let me keep this real. I've apologized to my ex-husband, straight up. I've apologized to my kids. Real talk. I've apologized to those who I've hurt. I didn't just say, I didn't do one of those, closet, or, I did wrong. I'm just going to do better. I'm walking with the Lord now, so all is right. Nah. though I apologized to some people. I had to. You understand what I mean? Like sometimes you gotta say sorry. And not just, I'm not one for just saying I'm sorry and then doing the same thing over and over to somebody. It's like, nah, the best apology is change behavior. And every damn day, I work on that. But the most important person that I said I'm sorry to and that I'm not going to repeat the pattern is myself. The forgiveness of, so somebody needs to hear that. The most important person that you have to apologize to say that I'm sorry that I did those things to you. I'm sorry that I allowed you to walk in those rooms. I'm sorry that I allowed you to accept that. I'm sorry that I allowed that for you to believe that you had to mold yourself and that you had to be everything for everyone else but except yourself. Was me. I had to apologize to myself. You understand that? And then I had to say, you know what happened to you when you were younger, you had no control over. But here's the thing, you can't live there anymore. You can't keep blaming your mama, your daddy, and your brothers and your sisters and all that. Yo, at this point, it's up to you to take accountability for your life. Get yourself some help. That's how you win. www.moesass.com, info@mosass.com if you want to talk. You can message me on these platforms, but I'm dropping the mic on that right there, y'all. If it's to be, it's up to me. That's what you need to remind yourself. You're not a victim. You don't have to be stuck to anything. You don't have to be stuck to any story. You don't have to be stuck to any place. You don't have to be stuck to any person or anything, including those people. Let me tell you, it starts with those people who live in you. All you got to do is reach out. All you got to do is reach out and understand that if you desire to have, do, or be better, it starts with you making a choice and decision today to say enough is enough. I love you. I hope you have the most amazing rest of your Sunday.